Hari Om Tat Sat. Mandukya Upanishad. Let us begin with the prayer.
Bhadram Pashyema Kshabhiryajatra Sthirairangaistushtuvansasthanubhihi Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashrabaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishthanemihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Last time we were dealing with different layers of our mind, conscious mind, unconscious mind, and subconscious mind. So we were looking at this chart when we are in the awake zone. We have body and we use the conscious mind. Conscious mind, meaning whatever we are doing, we are conscious of. But when we go to the sleep state, we are not conscious. So it is unconscious mind. And even though activity is going on, we do have dreams. And sometimes no activity goes on, which is deep sleep state, but that is in a latent manner. That means, what do you mean by latent? That exists, but we are not aware of. And the example was given that of when the water changes from ice to the water, 0 degree to 0 degree, it does not show any rise in the temperature, but for 1 gram of water, it takes 80 calories. Anyhow, so that part is latent. And so in a deep sleep state, it is said that deep sleep state comes very close to that of realized state. The only difference is that the awareness does not exist. Now, let us understand the word awareness. This is the second slide, by the way. And so these are the first stage is waking state, they call it, or the Jagruta Sthiti, conscious mind, Vaishwana, I will explain in a minute, grosser state, and of Om. So waking state meaning you are awake and you do whatever you do, eat, drink, drive, study, so you are conscious of. And This state of your consciousness or the Atman or the Jiva is referred as Vaishwanara. And this is called grosser. Gross means, don't use the word gross, mean quite a bit physical, you can say. And this will be symbolized by the letter A. That part also will be studied. So between this state and the next state, which is dream state. Now in the dream state, understand it is unconscious mind. Dream is going on and you feel as if it's a real thing. Because if a tiger is chasing you, you will have your blood pressure rising and you are thinking you are running like crazy, but you are still sleeping in the bed. So you are not aware of any activity outside your dream. That's why they say you are not conscious of all the perceptive organs, whatever they are doing. And that part of your, that part or that phase of your consciousness is called Tejasa or Hiranyagarbha. And this is a subtle state. Subtle means not at the physical level noticeable. In this grosser state, if you are walking, yes, it is physically noticeable. But in the dream, if you're walking, nobody would know that you're walking, only you. And that dream state will be symbolized by the letter U out of Om. And then so between these two states, grosser state and subtle state, there is transition is going on. And this transition, when you are aware of the transition, there's a very specific orientation of your eyes and your entire face. I will explain you, I will show you a picture of Unmani Mudra, okay? I do not have that of Aldani Mudra, but never mind. And so from here, the next state is a deep sleep state where there are no dreams. It is not a grosser because it cannot be seen, nor even the deep sleeper person even is not aware of what is happening. So here it was unconscious, and here it is subconscious. Subconscious, here what it meant is you are not dead, but you are also not unconscious also, meaning outside activity is also not you are aware of. And in that state, the consciousness is called prajna consciousness, or it is called Ishvara. It is a causal state. It is grosser state, subtle state, and causal state that causes something to happen. And this deep sleep state is addressed as M in Om. And the Turiya state, it is consciousness, absolute. Absolute meaning it, even though the name has been given as Turiya for us to understand, but there is no name to it. And I will explain why no name. And silence after Om. This is the most critical part, silence after Om. I will repeat over and over. In today's class, I would like to talk about the silence after Om. Turiya is a state of silence after Om. All right, let me take you to this is my Guru's Unmay Mudra. This picture, I took that of a picture with the permission of Swami Satsangi. You see, you almost think that he's dozing, he's tired, he's sleepy. But no, this is in between awake state and sleep state. So what it is, he is awake of a stage just coming to the dream state. So he's observing it. And what is that observation? What is that witness? That we'll talk in a minute. So this I happen to. So I'm just sharing with you. You will not find it almost anywhere, any picture of Unmani Mudra. Now, bear with me hereafter. Mandukya Upanishad is really appearing to be difficult to be understood. So, first and foremost, we have to understand that we understood the 3 stages of our life. There is no other state. Meaning, right now we all are awake. Awake meaning we could see, we could hear, we could feel, smell, taste. Everything is happening. So that with which we are aware of. So this is, they call it a Jagruta Sthiti. Later on, we'll call it Jagruti. Word means awakeness. But sometimes this awakeness is used when you are fully aware of. And I will explain you what is awareness in a minute. So bear with me. And later on, if not today, maybe after 2-3 sessions, any question that you have pertaining to any of this lecture, write it down and we'll have maybe a session or 2 sessions fully for question answer, because it's not that simple to understand. So the word awake state, Jagruta Sthiti. So in that, all what you are doing it, you are collecting the informations of all the object outside of you, and including this body, understand, including your own body, which I'm referring as that of third person. Many times you would have heard that in class we are advised that treat your body as belonging to a third person. Why so? Because at that time you're observing is it from outside and thinking that somebody else is sleeping. That way you can witness the person sleeping, but you yourself cannot understand it. So the word witnessing it. Witness means observing without any reaction, without experiencing, so to say. You're just witnessing it. Situation is happening. But now, understand that you are walking. Let's take simple example. You are walking. Other people are observing that you are walking, but you don't observe yourself that you are walking. What really is to be done, that if you think that you are not this body, and you, what you are, is Virata or Vaishwanara, or that state of consciousness, that is you, really you, And that you is observing this body walking. So that observation is called witnessing. So really speaking, it is not consciousness that is really doing anything. Consciousness does not do anything. It just witnesses, just observes. So in other words, if you're observing third person doing so, you are not really walking, you're not eating, you're not doing anything, but you're simply witnessing the movement of the other person. So in you, there is some alertness that is witnessing what you are doing. We'll come to know in a further explanation in a minute, so that the word witness is so important. Then let's go to the next stage, which is swapna sthiti, dream state. Now, in the dream state, what is the difference between awake state and the dream state? The only difference, I would say, all the objects are not real. Meaning you saw a tiger chasing you. Is it really a tiger? No. And your blood pressure is going up and blah, blah, blah. That the effect is real, but the tiger wasn't there. So that's why it is called swapna sthiti. But in that swapna, your body is experiencing, but do you think that your body can experience without consciousness, without your Atma? So what is really happening in that, the consciousness is witnessing that a tiger is chasing you. And as soon as you come out of the dream, then all the objects which were not there and they were still there, they disappear. Bear with me, do not be discouraged that it is getting harder and you don't understand. But my today's intention is to explain us the importance of silence. Okay? So, during the awake state, we saw what consciousness is witnessing. In the dream state, we also saw what consciousness is witnessing. And in that, the name given by our saint to that part, that section or that label of consciousness is either Taijasha or Hiranyagarbha. You don't have to worry about all those names. But as and when you come across and you read somewhere, you know that, oh yes, I have heard that. All it is the same thing, doing different functionality. And what I meant by, they're not different consciousness. Like simple example of naming I can give you. If it is a police officer, the police officer, when he is in the uniform, we call him police. But if his wife is meeting him, do you think he really say, hey, you officer? Wife, we may say with whatever loving addressing, one does it. And if his children come, children will say, hi, daddy. They will not say police. But still, he is all the three. Likewise, consciousness is the same. Just a different name has been assigned to recognize their role that the conscious, and in all those, their role is just to witness. So bear in mind, so-called consciousness really does not do anything. No activity. All the activities have been performed by the body, with the help of prana. But consciousness per se does not do anything. It just witnesses and empowers it. Now, coming to, so this is a subtle state. Subtle meaning it's not physical, it's not gross. Gross, again, don't take it gross as a gross, take it as a physical. Because in the dream, things are happening, you're not aware. So at a subtle level. And then the last state, which is when you do not have any dream whatsoever. So it looks like you are almost dead, or you are almost realized. So why I say it's almost dead but not dead? Because from that stage, the next stage can come, which can be awake state or can be dream state, from the deep sleep state. So you are shifting from the third state to the second state or to the first state or somewhere there. So truly speaking, in the third state, you are not aware, meaning you don't know whether you are alive or not. It is that profound sleep, and you are not aware. Otherwise, that stage would have been the stage of self-realization. Because, now understand why I say it will be a state of self-realization, because there is nothing in your mind which has been self-created. And what I mean by self-created? Our own world. And what I mean by our own world? My wife, my children, my house, my garden. All these are self-creation. And that too, we will come to know in a minute. And truly speaking, there is nothing of the kind. All which is common to all the three stages is consciousness. Because you are alive, again, understand. So, and deep sleep, consciousness exists. So in the previous sloka, it has been stated that that is the doorway to stage number 1 and stage number 2. What he meant by doorways, when eyes and all other organs are open, it is the consciousness which keeps you into the awake state. And if your eyes are closed and you start dreaming, it is the same consciousness which takes you into dream state. So you're dreaming and you are in another world. But in deep sleep, there is no world. So there, and the Sanskrit word is prapancha. There is no world has been created. So that stage is this. So now, come to the point and to understanding between these three stages. What are the three stages? Now I'm introducing so-called the fourth stage, which is Turiya. So the first stage, again, by now we must have remembered Jagruta sthiti, or the conscious state. or the alert state. Let's not use the word conscious, otherwise we may get confused with. So alert state. Second state is a dream state or the susupti. No, dream state, swapna sthiti. And the third one, susupti, deep sleep state. Now these three stages are there, but in all the three stages, what is the common factor? Is the consciousness. So try to think that you take all the three stages. You take alert state or the Jagruta sthiti and take the consciousness out. Do you think you can still call it a Jagruta sthiti? No. If you take the second state, which is a dream state, you take the consciousness out, can there be the second stage? Now comes the beauty, understand? So no. And the same way, susupti, deep sleep state, if you lose your consciousness or you die, can somebody say that he is fast asleep? No. So now go back to our first example, that of chain, bangles, and the ring. Now, out of the chain, you just remove the gold. Can chain be a chain? Ask yourself. This is so powerful and so detailed to be understood. That way, now we'll introduce the chapter of Om. Until now, it is something different. These are all preparation, you can call it. So, out of the chain, every bit that you touch, it can be a link, it can be a wire, it can be a loop. Anything in the chain you look, it is nothing but the gold. Do you agree? But still, we don't call it gold. We call it chain. And when you want to feel what is chain, so as soon as you take the gold out of it, how would you call it a chain? What is chain? Or what do you really mean by the word chain? Tell me. It is a question to all of us. So the gold is real. Gold has its existence. Gold, once you melt the chain, then the same gold can be used to convert into a bangle or a ring or any other ornament. But there is nothing like chain. Ask yourself and tell yourself, there is nothing like chain. Chain is just a name given. So it's just a name given to us, Jagrita Sthiti. We are awake. But are you truly awake? If you take the consciousness out of it, what will be the condition? Same thing now, you go to the bangles. You examine the bangle in and out, look under, over, side. Bangle is still the bangle. But to a lady wearing bangle, to her, it's a nice design, nice weight, nice glitter or the shine. And he or she may say, oh, it's 24 karat gold. But if you take that gold out of it, and then I go and ask, I says, okay, Susan, out of this bangle, I'm just taking the gold out and give me the bangle. What would Susan will give me? So in other words, the bangle does not have its existence. Bangle is just the representation of gold. This body is just the representation of consciousness. So important and so clear to understand this part. Every bit need to be clarified, every bit need to be understood. And the same way, if you take a ring, we call it a ring, but you take the gold out of it, would you call it a ring? Or then I ask you, let me have your ring. I, being a Vedantic jeweler, I have taken out the gold. Now give me the ring. So to say, the word ring, the word bangle, the word chain do not have their existence, no astitva. But they exist because of gold. So our stages like Jagrita Sthiti, Swapna Sthiti, and Susupta Sthiti exist because of the gold. And what is that gold? That is consciousness. So, having understood this part so far, let me take you a step further. Now, we all understand the word Jagruta Sthiti. But see, I've been crazy out of the, and not remembering the whole word Jagruta Sthiti. I just call it or a. And the same way, Swapna Sthiti, instead of calling it Swapna Sthiti, I call it a U. And Susupti, I just call it a ma. People say, why do you call it? I just abbreviate the name. I just call AUM. But understanding a is a syllable, U is a syllable, ma is a syllable. Jagruta Sthiti is a representation. Swapna Sthiti, representation. And Susupti, also representation. But ultimately, they all are gold. Even though gold is not visible directly, people, whosoever are enjoying the ornament, they're enjoying the ornament. They see gold's presentation or gold's display. So we are enjoying the display of consciousness. Ma. But then when you look at the chain, when you look at the bangle, you don't look at the gold. But without the gold, it does not exist. So and ma do not exist without following silence. Everything merges into silence. And if there is no silence, there is no sound. Understand that part. So in order to bring our awareness to the consciousness, which is not Om, that is beyond Om. And what is beyond Om? Beyond Om is the silence. So when you chant Om, and the following silence, that following silence, if you start seeing it, if you start witnessing it, then you are exploring the whole new, beautiful world and bearing it very much. If there is no silence, there is no if there is no silence, there is no U. If there is no silence, there is no makar. If there is no gold, there is no chain. If there is no gold, no bangle. No gold, no ring. Relate to our day-to-day life. If there is no consciousness, there is no Jagruta sthiti, no alertness. If there is no consciousness, there is no Swapna sthiti or the dream state. And if there is no consciousness, there is no Susupti, the deep sleep state. Now, so far, understanding this part, it brings us to little better clarity, but still we are confused as to why this Mandukya Upanishad is so powerful. It is a tool, is giving us the tool to go beyond the shape to the goal. It takes us beyond U and Ma to silence. And in that sense, how often in our classes we have been advised that don't just rush and say Om, Om, Om 5 times. Om, and when the makar goes on and the silence is created, just stay there. Enjoy. And that will also silence your mind. And when the mind is silenced, you go beyond that silence. Now, thing to be understood, it is not the silence is not the experience of nothing, but it is not nothing need to be experienced, but it is the experience of nothingness. Let me repeat what I said. It's not that nothing need to be experienced, but there is nothing like thing, but it is the experience of nothingness. You are first time experiencing that when you are silent. And when I say silent, 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 that brings the stillness. Stillness, more steady environment. And the stillness and the stillness is the divinity. And long back, and I think Swami Yogananda, he was saying, stillness is the altar of divinity. But we like the sentence, but we are not practicing it. We are so much interested in just doing one full rosary, Om, 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 Om. What? Thinking that you're taking God's name. But the true God's name is silence. And that part is when you chant Om, A, U, Ma, and then let it fade into nothingness. And that nothingness still reverberates in your head. But when the head is experiencing stillness, that's the beauty of it. That is where the deeper knowledge, prajna, gets revealed to you. This, and sometimes you think, I feel so happy, but I don't know why. You will never also know why, because it is not because of something. You are not happy because of something. You are happy because you are the happiness. And that is the stage we will explain a couple of times. Don't be a lover, but experience love without the lover. So do not simply be an enjoyer. Do not just be something or somebody who will enjoy the happiness, but be happiness, because that's what you are. And be happiness, and I would like to shift the word. I would like to reserve the word happiness so far as some objects are concerned. But when the subject is experiencing happiness, I would like to use the word ananda or bliss. Because you are ananda. You are not anandi, but you are ananda. And that experience, once you have it, that's the state of realization. The word realization, because that is the only real. The rest come and go. That is Jagruta Sthiti, come and go a couple times a day, if not once a day for sure. Swapna Sthiti may also come once a day, and the deep sleep may come, may not come. But they are transitory. They come and go. But what does not come and does not go is the consciousness. So, ma can come and go, but what doesn't go is the following silence. So, the consciousness is represented by the silencing Om. I will repeat. Consciousness, Atma, is represented by the silence following Om. And our entire life is represented by Om, A-U-M. There are other scientific reasons too, but I may cover next time. But the point here in today's class, I would like to mention that silence and the experience of nothingness, not nothing to be experienced, but the experience of nothingness is so important. And to have the experience of nothingness and to have the experience of bliss or ananda, how often we were told, meditate, meditate, meditate. But even in meditation, understand what we are doing it. We are training our mind so that our mind may like whatever that is dear to us. Meaning, if I like skiing, and your eyes are closed, and if I'm describing a skiing experience, you may say, I had a great meditation on Mammoth or Mountain Mammoth. Is that a meditation? Or you were training your mind to like what it used to like? Or you may be chanting a devotional song. When you're chanting a devotional song, and if you happen to be a Krishna devotee, and if somebody is singing Krishna song, you will say, oh my God, it took me into the heaven. It was your mental heaven. And I'm not saying anything is bad. Mind you, that part is also good. You listen to the Krishna song. That will be the initial stage. But then that song takes you to the state of silence where there is nothing but the Krishna consciousness and not Krishna. At that time, you will not find a Krishna with peacock feather and yellow clothes and different kind of garlands and whatnot. That is our creation. None of us have ever seen Krishna. But our mental creation and our mind likes it. Do so for the initial state. But dear friend, look for the silence following the sound. With the sounds U, and Ma. We will, we are still to talk a lot about Ma and what it is and why Mandukya Upanishad is so powerful. The other Upanishads are great also, mind you, but this strictly talks about you and you alone, meaning pretty much all the worldly religions, they are dualistic. And what I mean by dualistic, you are you and God is God. And what I meant by you are you and God is God, that then you say, where is God? Oh, God is in heaven. Oh, so where is heaven? Not here. When would you find it? After you die. So after you die, you don't know where you will be. Let's not also get into the theory of birth after death and anything else. And once you go there, and if you still cannot find God, then who would you ask, where is God? Because the person who said that there's God in the heaven, that person is also no more. While this Mandukya Upanishad is telling you that God is here and that is you. Let me repeat. God is here. Soyam Atma. Aham Brahmasmi. I am that. And yesterday in the class, we were talking about almost every one of us wanted to know how to reach there. Meaning, how to develop that awareness. And what was that awareness? The word was given to us was sthita prajna. In that awareness state, how to be there forever. At the same time, I must mention, don't think that being in this state, you are not carrying away your daily activity. If you're married, you eat, drink, you carry on your duty. but with awareness. You wear the chain, there's nothing wrong in wearing chain, but what? Be aware. The chain is there. Chain is just a shape. Chain does not exist without gold. I do not exist without consciousness. So I am the consciousness. But most of the time we convince ourselves, I am the body and this body has in it a consciousness. No. What initially we have to change our internal thinking that I am a divine being. I am the consciousness. At the same time, a couple of weeks ago, we were given vyavharik awareness. That is, when you're dealing with somebody in a business or so, a customer comes and he asks you, who are you? You can't say, I'm consciousness. You can say, I am John Doe, the businessman. But internally you are aware that John Doe is just the external name given to this body. But I am a divine being. And the moment you come to know that you are a divine being, and you know that you are the God, can you steal the customer? Can you lie to the customer that, hey, I'm giving you below my profit? This thing is costing me $200. I'm not making any money on it. Can you say so? So the first part is easier. Keep convincing yourself that I'm a divine being. I don't want to lie because I am God. Tattvam Asi. So that practice, this internal shift, is so much essential. And a lot of time people ask me, should I do 5 minutes of meditation or 10 minutes? This meditation is forever and never ending. Because how can you be silent for 5 minutes and rest of the time not? How can you be God for 5 minutes and rest of the time crook? So that swasta, the word was yoga sthiti or pragna sthiti. Sthiti, to be established. In pragna, that awareness, that knowledge, that state is once it came, that's it. Thereafter, the rest of the world will call you crazy because even though your eyes may be open and you may be carrying out your daily activity, whatever you need to do, meaning going to the office, coming back, having family. I'm not saying you have to have, but having family, that's fine too. But alertness, the consciousness, the state of continuous alertment is so much needed. So silence, silence, silence. And the silence will also not come right away. So what you do, At least, even if you do not think of silence, at least don't think of noise per se, for sure. Noise in terms of hearing, listening, something that you don't need to hear or listen. So as far as possible, just close your eyes and sit. Even if your mind spins, doesn't matter. But you are avoiding the acceleration to the mind. Let it run. And once you keep on observing more and more, that activity or that reactivity will stop on its own. How will it stop? As it was explained many times, that when you see a young boy playing mischief, and as soon as he comes to know that mommy is watching him, activity freezes. So it can happen to all of us, our activity, when you observe your mind. But as soon as you entertain the mind monkey business, vikshepa will happen. Vikshepa, running around in all different directions. And Sankaracharya's great grand guru, Gaudapada, has so beautifully said, Vikshiptam samaye punaha. Whenever the mind is in the vikshepa sthiti, vikshepa means wandering all around. Samaye punaha, in other words, remind it. Punaha, repeating. Different time, just remind, keep on reminding. But do not be mad. As soon as you become mad, then you are reacting. So you're still further complicating the story. And that part was also discussed last Monday. How to avoid becoming angry on your own anger and somebody else's anger. So today's, out of this 1 hour, we learned only one word, and that is silence. So with this, dear friend, I will end here. Let us have the Shanti Path, and please kindly contemplate. And do all kind of pujas, do all kind of dharma, all kind of meditation, all kind of yoga sadhana. But understand, there is nothing like silence. And once you reach to that state, the rest of the knowledge will be insprung from within. You don't need to read anything. It will come to you. Not only it will come to you, it is there with you anywhere. But that is readable only in stillness, in silence. Even if you don't know a word of Sanskrit or word of any scripture, don't worry. And this will bring you to a universal religion, if at all you call it religion. That is the true beauty of it. So let us enjoy Shanti Path.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांसस्तनुभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति